nice. So for everyone else's benefit then, Les, I made a corrected chord sheet for Michamocha to match what's on the sheet music.
Yes.
But it's all still very easy playable chords.
Is this A? There's some extra chords in there.
Yeah, it's in D.
Yeah, it's in D, okay.
Yep. Let's just run through it real quick just to make sure that we got it. Like not even all the way through. Michamocha. So I don't even want to go through like everything right now. I just want to kind of do a little bit of a run through of the section. So let's pretend like we're coming right in on Michamocha. Michamocha ba'evi madonai, Michamocha Adar ba'kodesh, Michamocha ba'evi madonai, Michamocha Adar ba'kodesh. That's just what Dan wrote. So I wanted to kind of get our chord changes there. But it's still pretty intuitive, I think. Yeah, it's fine. Hashki Venu, main thing to note for those who are using the actual Shirenu sheet music is that we do not do section B.
And the key?
D.
D.
D major.
Yeah. I think I've done this before.
We've done this one before together. Yep. Alright, Sipatai Tiktak. Let's say we're gonna do it at least 3 times through, but if I feel like we're really in it, I might put in a 4th. And we'll likely start it pretty slow and gradually get a little bit faster. In fact, we might do like really slow, medium slow, or like really slow, medium, really, really fast, and then slow again, something like that. We might do it 4 times.
I heard a really cool gypsy jazz version of this.
Oh yeah? Yeah. All right. Yismechu. At the bottom there, yeah, it's in E. Technically, though, it's not an E major. Actually, for you, Alex, you should know that it's in something called E Fragish, which is actually more like an A. It's the notes of an A harmonic minor, but based on E.
Okay, so it's A harmonic.
It's technically an E modified Phrygian.
E modified Phrygian. Okay.
Yeah, called Fragish, actually, in Yiddish.
So, no Phrygian.
Yeah, it's a Phrygian, but with a raised third.
So, like you're saying, it's all the same as A harmonic minor.
Yeah, it has all of the notes of A harmonic minor, but based on E.
I'll just play the A harmonic minor.
Sometimes at the end of the verse, they play off each other.
I'm just gonna let, Les, I'm gonna let you drive the ship on this one.
Okay.
We'll follow you. Forward say. Do we need to go through the roadmap on that? At least? No, for the next one, for the forward say.
Let's say, I think it's A, B,
A, B, A, B? We have to end with the A somehow.
then we have to come back to A, B.
D major. So we'll do A, B, A, B, A then for that. Shalom Rav, this is also D major,
You play it structure.
but mellower. And that is pretty much as written.
The next one is yours.
This is new. This is a newer one. This is something that I wrote. We're only going to do the first page.
So for me, that's the word. I knew that was going to start going off.
Got one of those earlier.
At some point we'll do the essential part too. So the way it kind of works is like that's the way the intro goes, right? So it'll be, may the words of my mouth and first page, you see where we end with the Goali?
Yeah.
Instead of going on to Oseh Shalom, we're going to go right back to the third bar. There should be pencils in the little cubby over there on the side. We're all pencils in this room and always. Okay. Shehecheyane. Yep, and we're going to do that as written. D. We're just going to really watch and listen to one another. We don't have time to go through stuff. I apologize. Healing prayers in C major. For those who have notated sheet music, I went ahead and cut out the stuff you don't need. And then concluding with No One Walks Alone. Yeah, for this, just note that the words that are on the notated sheet music are not what we're going to be doing tonight. I need to actually look at the lyrics for this one. I should have put the wrong thing in there. We're doing different verses. There's like I've written like 20 different verses for this song. I prefer to be very adaptable. So instead of verses about Abraham and Isaac, we're going to be doing a couple of different ones, but the chords are the same and the melody is the same.
Yeah, you just take the lead on the verses.
Yep. Because I wrote one that was specifically for this week's Torah portion. All right. Checking our other folks, I'll be right back.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everyone.
I'm wearing several hats this evening, or several kippot this evening. So, yes.
You were there and well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Excited to play tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to hear it. How's the family?
How are y'all doing?
How's your family?
How are you
Pretty
doing?
good.
How are you?
All well?
Busy. Sometimes it's on a spectrum. Sometimes
Some more
it's
family.
like just right close to being enough busy, and sometimes a little bit on the other end. But you
We
know,
accept immunization cards are written in Hebrew, right?
sure.
We do have an Israeli out there.
Oh, we do. Okay. Awesome.
Sure. I gotta show you all my picture from today.
And while he's pulling it up, I was wondering if one or both of you might be willing to help light candles this
Just went
evening.
on a trip to see.
Thank you so much.
Some.
Just you or both of you? Up to you both.
Those who signed above mine.
Everybody's happy to see Will
Just me, I
Harrison.
guess.
We got
You don't need to say anything. It's just, it'll really help me because then I won't have to deal with navigating the guitar out from behind where I am. Yeah, no, I believe that he has a young person in his family who's becoming the minister this weekend. So, it's a thing.
Mike's got a little bit of English, so he's trying not to stand over.
It's also pregnant twins. I watched the both I did.
Oh, yeah.
And it's February. I don't know.
Lost spouse.
You know?
Oh, gosh.
What was your favorite?
February think the spouse that you came in with, we just thinking it went over there.
That sounds special.
That's federal food, not go over.
Just us and
This is our
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Adar.
I think it's probably getting them that they're like, oh, we're really grandparents now.
I know.
Maybe the parents, oh, I give them like 50 and things. So I wonder
Oh
if
my
they
God,
have
she is
it
very
or less, yeah.
It's gonna be nice.
And it just so happens also, so I'm Colbo, I'm doing it all this evening because Rabbi's out of town. So,
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
And you don't need, well, you got, you got one.
yeah. All right. I'll be right back.
We won't start till we get to the work.
You did, I think.
Oh, yeah, this is very important to us.
Not too sure it's gonna be a grand.
I want to end up with the whole neighborhood. It's not interesting, kids deal with them every day.
I did.
You did.
Did not.
You did.
Actually did not. No. Okay.
How many kids you got? Just the one?
Yeah. I use like a kid. I said my kids.
Have they been struggling to have some or just?
We both got careers starting.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You fold the phone down and you pull the little triggers. I believe so. There's a
She
couple
worked
you should do.
3 days a week.
We also have to just
Very home. And got
Cherokee Hills, Alice Jasper Memorial, there was snow.
I just needed to know.
Good. Why don't you check
Make
it
it
out?
very short. She just got, and his name, she was part of his name.
Must have not been doing something, huh?
That's what happened. I knew he. Oh. For sure. For sure. The problem is that we
Long,
left
and so it's like
went to the Salem.
connection.
That's all right, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
cheap fiberglass replacement.
So, well, when I was like 30,
Yeah, I think I read that. Well, what's really amazing is she ended up in my house being friends with me. And both were
that's why
she's.
she's. I know, I thought about that.
It's one of those things where you can't tell whether it's getting empty too.
Right, because the weight doesn't change and it's not like a match, you know.
All right, you'll do fine.
Looking forward to
Yeah.
Okay.
see your kids hold up.
Having this.
Because I'm going to use it later, I'd just rather not have to walk for it.
There is a doctor.
So I heard you bought a guitar.
The guitar, yeah.
Have you ever played before?
I played a long time ago. So some of the concepts are there, but playing accordion actually is very helpful for playing guitar because then it all just makes sense.
Right.
So, but it's getting these to do what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. It's like having the muscle strength is good, but you need to build the muscle memory
Yeah.
in a different way.
And I'm also playing, I also got a ukulele, and so I feel like it's like trying to grow up in a bilingual also, because the chords,
I love ukulele too,
it's
by the
really
way.
pretty. I thought ukulele was
Ukulele
fantastic.
was the first instrument I ever bought with my own money.
Was it really?
It was heavily used, broken in 3 places. I bought it for $10 and had to try to fix it.
So if I do ukulele or guitar,
I actually think ukulele would be really nice in particular because it's a higher register, so it actually would add like a different color to what we do.
okay.
But you're welcome to try guitar as well, just be a little bit guitar heavy is all, but that's all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Okay. I'll see where it goes. But I'm loving it. I really am.
All right, friends, we should go ahead and gather ourselves. I'm gonna grab. We'll start in just one moment, friends. Get that for. Good in the back here. think we're good, Summer. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to everyone who is here. Shabbat Shalom. For those who don't know me, most people here do, but I'm Cantor Jacob Nami, as well as to all of our friends who are joining us for Shabbat online. Welcome to Temple Beth El. As we gather here for this Shabbat, a time of repose, we're going to start without needing any book, any piece of paper, just a melody, and without even any words, just a melody to help us gather in this space as we make a separation between the troubles of the week and the time of rest and reflection and gratitude that we hope to enter. La 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 So this is our Shabbat's Midor Lador, a musical, Ruach, spirit-filled Shabbat experience for our whole temple family. And we'll be using, in addition to our copy of Mishkan Tefillah, our prayer book for the Reform movement, we'll also be using a supplement, which will have a lot of additional things that we'll be able to draw from. For our friends who are joining us online, you should have links to both a place where you can access that prayer book as well as that supplement, and also a program for this evening. We'll think about how we're going to be walking and talking and singing and praying and getting up maybe in the following morning with our minds always stayed on freedom. Page 3 of the supplement. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We are walking and talking. Talking with my mind, stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind, stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Singing and praying with my mind. State of freedom. No crime to have your mind. State of freedom. No crime to have your mind. State of freedom. Hallelujah. 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 I hope that we enter this time of Shabbat, of rest and repose and reflection with that sense of freedom as well. Welcome again to everyone who is joining us, and Shabbat Shalom. We have an opportunity now to kindle light as we welcome this time, and I would love to invite Sarah Wisdom to help us with lighting our Shabbat candles. And we'll join for a blessing over these candles, which you can find in the prayer book on in the supplement, on page 3 again of that supplement. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adikner v'tzivanu v'tzivanu le'adikner shel Shabbat shel Shabbat. Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the light of Shabbat, of Shabbat. We continue welcoming that presence, that space that we hope to create within ourselves, that space of rest, with harachaman, words that come from our blessing after meals, but have an insertion, this place where we talk about hoping that Shabbat is one where we will inherit some rest. And so on page 4 of your supplement, you can find these words, harachaman. Shabbat Arachaman Uyan Dileinu Yom Shekulo Shabbat Arachaman Uyan Dileinu Yom Shekulo Shabbat we'll turn into our prayer book and continue to welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, offering verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Page 138 in Mishkan Tefillah in our prayer book, offering verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Shamor v'Zachor v'Rikor Echad, Ishmianu El HaMeyuchad, Adonai Echad, Shmo Echad, Shemut Tiferet v'Ilah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kabbalah, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kabbalah, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Likrat Shabbat, Lechuven Elcha, Imekot HaBeracha, Merosh Mikelem Besucha, Som Ma'aseh B'machshavat Milah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kabbalah, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kabbalah, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Idoreri, Idoreri, Ima'oreh u'mi'ori, Uri, Uri, Shildaveri, Od Adonai alai, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kabbalah, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kabbalah, Yadadai, 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 Shabbat, Kabbalah. And I will now invite everyone to rise as we face our entrance and think about welcoming the Sabbath, welcoming Shabbat with all the joy that we can muster within our hearts. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, kol emunei ha'segula, boi chala, boi chala, lecha dodi, lecha kabbalah, yadadai, 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 shabbat, kabbalah, lecha dodi, lecha kabbalah, yadadai, 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 shabbat, kabbalah. So I mention this a lot, and some of you who know me well know that I speak about this quite a bit, but I do think that it is sometimes just worth underlining, especially on Shabbat, because it reveals something that is at the core of what, not only what it means to experience the Sabbath, but also to just move through the world as a Jew. And to point out that really the gratitude is at the core of everything that we do. And if you need proof If you need a piece of evidence that on our holiest day of the year, which is not, by the way, Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, our holiest day of the year is the one that occurs every week. It is Shabbat. That we only have, out of all of the 150 Psalms in the Torah, in the Tanakh, out of all 150 Psalms, there is only one where in the text of the Psalm, it tells you what day on which you are supposed to say it. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, a psalm for the Sabbath day, and then immediately following, Tov Lehodot Ladonai. It is good to give thanks to God. That the core psalm, the only one that has a name in the body of its text that's attached to our holiest day, the center of it is gratitude. And not only to say, Lehagid baboker chastecha, to say in the morning of God's chesed, of God's loving kindness, but also the emunatcha balelot, God's faithfulness in the evening. That we should have gratitude in the morning, in the daytime, when there's clarity and light, and maybe even joy, but we should also have gratitude even in the darker times, even when things are less clear or less joyous, and that we should find that accessing joy is one of the holiest and also one of the most spiritually beneficial things that we can work on within ourselves. So we'll offer this upbeat melody for Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, which you can find on page 140 in the prayer book, right after Lecha Dodi. We've welcomed that Shabbat spirit, that Shabbat joy, and now we overflow with that gratitude that we hope to be able to find whatever we might be bringing with us from the week. Hagim haboker chasdecha ve'emunatcha balelot alei amsor v'aleina ve'alei higayon v'chidor Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat Adonai, lepoalecha, lema'aseh yadecha aranein, magaru ma'asecha Adonai, me'od amku machshevotecha, for shir leyom HaShabbat, Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. We have hopefully peeled away some of the layers that may have built around our hearts over the course of the week. Music and prayer can help us to do that. Being in community can do that. And we reach this arrival moment where we have to decide whether we want to then move into being in closer relationship with that divine presence. And so we ask ourselves if we're ready, if we're awake, if we're prepared, if there's someone or something or anybody out there listening to what we're putting into the universe. And so we'll offer a call to prayer, which we can find on page 148 in our prayer book, and I will invite everyone to rise. Actually, we'll also be needing, you may want to refer to, if you want to look at the English, we have a little bit of English on page 4 of our supplement. And the text is there as well, but we also can find it in the prayer book as well. So I'll invite everyone to rise, and we will discover if we are actually ready to be in connection with something beyond ourselves. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la, ya la la la. Continuing on page 4 in our supplement, we'll think about this evening that we're moving into, the beauty of creation. Somebody asked me if there was a blessing for a, what is it, a snow squall? And I will say, my response is there's a blessing for everything. I do not know a blessing specifically for a snow squall. I have heard a blessing for hail, and I feel like there might be some overlap there. It's something about being in awe of creation, but also a little bit scared at the same time, and I feel like that kind of captures, and that can be a response that we have to the wonder of creation. But sometimes we can have wonder even just at the ordinary miracle of light rolling into darkness, into light, into darkness day by day. We're now in a space where the nights are starting to get a little bit shorter too, which is in many ways a blessing. And so for the extraordinary, the slightly dangerous, hopefully not too dangerous, and the ordinary, everyday, but still miraculous, we say, we roll into dark and into light. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Le'om v'layla, le'om or mipnei choshech, light. Night becomes day. Day turns to night. Rolling into dark. Rolling into light. Night becomes day. Day turns to night. So customarily we'll be standing through Shema, but if for any time you feel like you need to sit, don't feel like you should create any kind of physical burden for yourself, but we'll continue standing and move into the prayer book with Ahavat Olam on page 150. Page 150 for Ahavat Olam. Israel, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, u'kim u'mishpatim, otanu limareta, al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu u'bekumeinu, nasiha b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Chayenu le'orech yameinu, uvahem nehege yomam v'layla. Continuing on the next page. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. If you are standing, you may be seated. And we'll be continuing in the supplement back on page 4 toward the bottom with this beautiful interpretation of Ve'ahavta by Julie Silver. Your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And these words which I command you, of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise. Find for a sign on your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise, and when you rise. We'll move back into our prayer book on page 158, thinking about recalling the liberation of our ancestors from slavery in Egypt, and also thinking about the liberation that we hope for everyone, everywhere today. We'll continue with Hashkivenu, a prayer written just for the evening. But rather than that Ma'ariv Aravim, or rolling into dark and into night about the wonder of creation, this is a prayer that helps us to deal with the things that might be scary about the night, maybe that storm that's brewing out there, or anything else that keeps us from being able to get the rest that we need at night. And so we'll offer Hashkivenu. You can find it at the top of, or sorry, I should say, toward the top of page 5 in the supplement. Shalom, Ha'amidenu Shomreinu, L'chaim, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, thy ways, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Shalom. V'ha'amidenu shomreinu v'chaim. Pros aleinu sukat shlomecha, pros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. 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 We're about to move into the core of our tefillah, where we really hope to try to look even deeper inward, maybe even further outward, maybe even further upward, all those various dimensions, and connect to something, again, that is beyond us, that connects us to others as well. And so we move into our tefillah, our amidah, where customarily we stand. So I'll invite everyone to turn to page 164 in your prayer books and rise. And we're going to start a little bit slow, but we'll build. Continuing on page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. You may be seated. And we'll be turning back to page 162. 162 for Yismechu. We hope that we can find that oneg, that joy within our Shabbat, as well as all the resting gratitude that we might have. Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu leMalechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat, Mikadashei, Mikadashei Shemi Shabbat, Kulam Yismeu ve'yitamu Becha Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat. L'hashir ratzita bo v'kidashnu Shabbat. Yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat. Zecher lemase bereishit Shabbat. Zecher lemase bereishit Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Borei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. We'll be continuing in our supplement on page 5. Page 5 in our supplement. Hey Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael, Hey Adonai Eloheinu, Ilatam Yahava Yikavel. Say Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Say Adonai Eloheinu, Ilatam Yahava Yikavel. Can you hear our prayers as we sing your praise and glory? And we praise Tfilatan Yahava Tikavel. Tfilatan Yahava Tikavel. Tfilatan Yahava Tikavel. And we'll continue back in our prayer book on page 178 with a prayer for peace. Peace over us, over Israel, and the whole world. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Asim Leonam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Asim Leonam. Yatahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Yatahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leonam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leonam. Tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We take some time, take a few moments, either to explore words that are in the prayer book or the words that are in our own hearts. We'll take some time for ourselves, and in a little while we'll be meeting back together on page 180 once we've had some of our own quiet prayers. You still have words that you need to say on your own, please feel free to continue. But we'll join together toward the bottom of page 180. It's a melody that I've written that I shared a while back, but it may have been a while for some of us. So if you need to just listen at first, and maybe after a little while you'll be able to join in with me. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock, my redeemer, my rock, my redeemer. ratson imrei fi ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri ve'gohali my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock, my redeemer, my rock, my redeemer. Adonai tzuri ve'gohali We're now going to take an opportunity to offer prayers for our community. And to begin, we'll take a little moment for some kiddush. Hopefully, you all will have a space where you can partake of some fruit of the vine at some point during this Shabbat. And if not, at some point after, so that you can have that sweet taste. And so we'll turn back in our prayer books to page 123. Page 123 for the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת חיים. So in line with our taking that moment for blessings within our community, we actually want to offer, if anybody here has moments of either simchas, something that you've experienced within the last month that is a particularly joyous occasion, or even if there's just something that's happened within the last month that helps you to really connect to that feeling of gratitude. And I wonder, I can call on folks, and if you don't mind, I'll repeat a little bit of what you said just so that our folks who are joining us online can also connect to the joy that you're expressing. So does anybody here have anything that they have experienced in the last month, either a simcha or something that makes them feel very grateful? Yeah.
I recovered from COVID.
We have somebody here who recovered from COVID. Mazal tov, and I hope that, in continued good health.
Thank you.
And if our friends who are watching us and joining us online want to share things as well, you're welcome to put things into the comments. Is there anybody else in this space that has something? Yes, please.
My daughter has come home.
Your
from
daughter,
Israel.
your daughter is home from Israel. Wonderful, wonderful. Hope you're able to spend some quality time with one another. That's great. Anything else from those who are here in this room? Yes, in the back.
We're visiting from St. Louis. Our friend moved to Madison recently. We came by when she first came to Madison. Unfortunately, that was when everything was still closed. We're glad to be able to come up and be here actually on a Friday evening and join you all here today.
And we're glad to have you. We have some people who are visiting us here in person for the first time from, you said it's from St. Louis?
St. Louis, yes.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. And again, very glad to have you joining us. Any other either simchaot or pieces of gratitude from those who are here in the room? Well, and if you think of them later, even if you don't say them out loud, it's good to still think of them and speak them in your heart, because again, at the core of what we try to access on Shabbat is that sense of gratitude. And we have a blessing in our tradition for, when we arrive to a moment that we're really grateful for just being able to reach that time and to reach that moment. It sometimes is said when one is experiencing something new or for the first time in a long time, but the words themselves just say who gave us life, who sustained us, and brought us to this time. And I think that is a kind of blessing that we could say all the time. So we'll say a little shehechianu with one another. If you need the words, I think they're in the prayer book on page 648. You're welcome to look there. If you know them already and you don't want to follow along there, that's fine too. So 648, or if they're in your heart, that's all right as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echeanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu hazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echeanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu hazman hazeh. And we also take time to hold in our hearts all of those who might be in need of healing or wholeness, whether that is healing of the body, of the mind, or of the spirit. We have a very lengthy healing list in our congregation of names that have been referred to us by members of our community. Because we live in a world now where we are very public and online, we tend not to share those names out loud on a microphone. But they know that we are thinking of them and singing our strength and prayers out to them. And I would invite anyone who is joining us online, you can maybe place a name of somebody that you're thinking of in our comments, but also anybody who is in this room, if there's somebody that you're thinking of that could use prayers of healing and wholeness. I'd love to invite you to share those names either out loud or in your heart.
Lisa's Shikamba, Luann's story.
all of them. We wish them refuah shlema, a complete healing. And we turn into our supplement on page, I believe page 6. Is that right? Yes, page 6 for a prayer for healing. May the prayers we say for the ones that we love fly as birds on the wing to all those we think of. May God carry our healing blessings to those in need. May their burdens be eased, may their pain disappear. Make them healthy and whole, give them nothing to fear. Give them a healing of soul and body. Refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, yishlach lanu, refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. Yishlach lanu refuah shlema. We turn in our prayer books to page 586. Page 586 at the top, and we rise for Aleinu. Aleinu lishabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. You may be seated. We are now at a moment where we will call to our hearts and our thoughts and our whole being those who are no longer with us in body, but who are indeed with us in memory and in spirit. We, in particular, will raise the names of those who are connected to members of our community, who have passed within the last 30 days, and those whose Yartzeiten, whose anniversary of passing we observe on this Shabbat. There may be other names who are not connected to this list, but or names that we have not yet heard of. But those names that we know who have passed in recent days, we are remembering Bruce McCallum, brother of Jerry McCallum Schwartz. We are remembering David Goldenberg, husband of Estelle Goldenberg, mother of Judith Peterson and Zena Goldenberg. And we're remembering Ron Walker, husband of Janice Wexler, stepfather of Ari Davidson and Joshua Davidson, Zichronam Livracha. And to their names we connect the names of all of those who have passed, but in particular those whose Yartzeiten occur on this Shabbat. Those who are connected to our community, we remember John Baker, William L. Blockstein, Daniel Borkan, Pete Brem, Joan Buchalter, Irving Dinian, Irene Dull, Mamie Epstein, May Goose Fisher, Laura Fleischman, Hyacinth Gilau, Marvin Goldrosen, Ruth Goldsmith, Sandy Goldstein, Albert J. Goldstein, Shoshana Goodman, Chaim Hameson, Bernard Howards, Robert Jacobs, Rose G. Juranic, Irma Callan, Saul Castin, Dr. Robert Samuel Klugman, Terry Kozlov, Judy Cravat, William Lederer, Gerald Libman, Charles Mansfield, Hazel Sinaiko Marion, Millicent Audrey Myers, Don Nyhorn, Shirley Pittleman, Carl Rafferty, Bernard Rand, Florane Rice, Louis H. Rotter, Rose Rudder, Elaine Sacken, Andrew Mark Schauer, Ruben Schwartzstein, Florence Serlin, Jerry Schreiberg, William Silverman, Edith G. Sinaiko, Samuel Sinaiko, Saul Sinaiko, Pearl Smith, Nathan Spector, Monty S. Sweet, Joseph Sweet, Dorothy E. Ticko, David K. Weissman, and Bruce Wilson. And we know that there may be others who people are remembering who are not on our list. And so, of course, if people are joining us online, you're welcome to share those names in our comments. And those who are here in our room and who are in this physical space with us are also welcome to share any names of people whom you are remembering on this Shabbat.
Maurice Goodell.
Thank you. Zichronam livracha. We hold them all in our hearts, and we join together on page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish, and we rise as a community. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemech rabah, be'alma di v'rach yirutech v'yamlich malchutech, b'chai echon uvyom echon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemech rabah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Vit Hadar, Vit Ale, Vit Halal, Shemech Dekudsha Berichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata, Tush Bechata V'Nechemata, Da'amiran Be'alma Ve'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru. Amen. May their memories indeed be for a blessing, and we say Amen, and you may be seated. So, as you all may have noticed, especially those who attend our worship on a regular basis, Rabbi Beich is out of town this weekend, I believe, attending a simcha of his own and his family. So we wish him well and joy and also safe return. And I'm very pleased to be joined here by some of our friends from a wonderfully named The Promised Band. Les, when did that name actually come about?
About a year or two ago.
A little bit.
Fairly recent.
Right before I arrived, I think.
Yeah.
All right. And so this is a group of volunteers, members of our community who just love music and creating music with one another and try to bring some of that joy to all of you in our Shabbat worship on the third Friday of each month. And so we are so grateful to have that presence. Speaking of gratitude, I want to offer some thanks to the Ehrliches for being our greeters this evening, to Sarah Wisdom for being our candle lighter this evening, to Summer Koff for being our tech guru this evening. So much gratitude all around, and for everyone who's just here and present, whether you're here for the first time or you've been here many times. We are just so grateful to be able to have this space with one another. So some announcements, as we are wont to do. We want to make sure we know what's coming up in our community. Tomorrow morning, we will have, actually, I should say, before we get into some time-bound announcements, let's just do a little bit of a general announcement. Speaking of our greeters, the Ehrliches, you will note that they were checking vaccinations when we came in the door. We want to thank everybody present for wearing your masks properly and being vaccinated and showing, proof of vaccination if necessary. We are also a community that does contact tracing. So hopefully when you were greeted at the door, there was some way where you let us know who you were and how we could contact you if needed. If you discover within 5 days of being here that you have contracted COVID, we encourage you to reach out to our executive director, Stephanie Kushner, and let us know. And if somebody does let us know that they contracted COVID within 5 days of being here, we'll then let everyone else know that there was an exposure risk so that they can follow up appropriately. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., there will be Torah study led by myself. Full service cantor this weekend. And then also at 9 a.m., there's also going to be a parallel Torah study for families with children called Efsharut, being led by our Director of Lifelong Learning, Nicole Jar. Shabbat services next week. On Friday, February 25th, we will have Shabbat worship will be at 7:30, but at 7 p.m., we're going to be having a reception honoring new members and members who have reached particular milestones of the duration of their membership in our congregation. So there will be a short reception at 7 p.m. followed by worship at 7:30. You are welcome to join us either in person or online. On Saturday, February 26th at 9 a.m., we'll have Torah study led by Steve Olson. And later that afternoon/evening, our young families will be having a Havdalah and glow stick dance party, also with some of my presence and assistance, and that will be a wonderful time for the young families in our community. The next B'nai Mitzvah in our congregation on Saturday, March 5th at 10:30 a.m. We will be calling Chloe and Eden Schmick, the daughters of Lauren and Jason Schmick, to our Bima as Benot Mitzvah. That will be happening both here in our sanctuary and also live streamed to our YouTube channel. Information about any and all of these things can be found on our website, tbemadison.org. And then finally, one just little plug. Some of you may have received some communication from me this week that we are getting ready for Purim celebrations in the middle of March. We are still looking for spielers, meaning actors in a spiel, in case you didn't know, and Megillah chanters or readers. If you're not comfortable chanting and you would prefer to read, so little plug there. If you have any, even like the slightest bit of interest, please come speak to me afterwards, or if you're watching online, please send me an email, cantor@tbemadison.org. That was a shameless plug, but a necessary one, I feel. So we are going to move to the end of our service here with a closing song, which you can find on page 7 of our supplement. This is one of those songs where I have tried for a very long time to figure out who actually wrote it. I believe it's based on some kind of spiritual, but I have yet to be able to find any particular origin. It's also one where it really lends itself well to writing lots of new verses. So I've done that a bunch. And in fact, both of the verses 2 and 3 that we're going to be offering are ones that I've adapted. The second verse that we're offering is actually based on this week's Torah portion, which is, if people don't know, is the story of the golden calf. So throughout it all, wherever we're going, whatever we're doing, whatever dangers or troubles we might face, we seek to know in our hearts that we are not alone, because no one walks alone. No one walks alone. No one walks alone. There's a reason for this prophecy, a promise made to you and me, that no one walks alone. I tell you, no one walks alone. No one walks alone. Just let your faith abide. Somebody's by your side. No one walks alone. No one walks alone. No one can make it on their own. Take the Israelites, when they had lost their way. Take the Israelites when they had lost their way. The tablets smashed into the ground, but still God's presence could be found. No one walks alone. I tell you, no one walks alone. No one walks alone. Just let your faith abide. Somebody's by your side. No one walks alone. No one walks alone. No one can make it on their own. This is a verse that I wrote during COVID about all of us who have faced times where we might feel like we're a little bit alone. Take all of us who face these troubled times. Take all of us who face these troubled times. We still know, no matter where we are, no matter if we're near or far, that no one walks alone. I tell you, no one walks alone. No one walks alone. Just let your faith abide. Somebody's by your side. No one walks alone. No one walks alone. No one can make it on their own. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom to everyone joining us online. We hope you have a Shabbat full of peace and blessing and gratitude.